Today's video is all about Terra clay paint, Patina paint, and puppy dogs. If you keep walking by those candlesticks when you're at the thrift store, do me a favor, stop, grab them, and buy them because these are a lot of fun to flip with paint. This is where I'm supposed to be working today, but obviously some other little doggies have another plan. Let's start. All right, so we are going to work on these little candlesticks today. Puppies included, I guess. They belong to a friend of mine, and she gave them to me a really long time ago to do something with. I've painted her a buffet in a rusty, crusty blue, and it's super cool. So she wants these blue as well. These are originally from Crate & Barrel. They're big. They are wood on the base, but this part right here is plastic. So the plan is to clean them first, get any of this little residual wax off that might be there. Here you go. You can monitor that one. And then we are going to use Bonding Boss. So you see me use this a lot, right? You see me use this probably on things that I don't have to, but it saves the day. It saves the day, Stella. So this will make sure that the plastic and the shiny wood on these three candlesticks are going to stick. Oh gosh, that's really heavy. That's really heavy. So first have clean, second Bonding Boss for slick and shiny surfaces and things that are plastic. So here's the thing about setting up my little place like this where I'm working. I just did this one and now I can't pick it up and move it because, hello, I'll get my hands covered and it's already on my leg. I will get Bonding Boss everywhere. So I guess I'll paint around this maybe? I don't know. Let's work on this one and then I will move over and do the last. The thing is about Bonding Boss, okay, you need 2 even coats. Have I done 1 coat before and gotten away with it? Yes. Do the instructions say do that? Most definitely no. The instructions say apply 2 even coats, waiting approximately 2 to 4 hours in between coats of Bonding Boss. And then the rule is you need to wait 24 hours before you begin to paint. So I'm not gonna be able to paint these till tomorrow, which is fine. I'm not gonna lie, they've been sitting here in my workroom for like 6 months. But I am doing a de-stash and cleaning this room up. I'm painting a lot less. I'm doing a lot more social media stuff and work. So we will just kind of go with the flow, right? Like painting less doesn't mean that I have to have less fun. It just means that I have to get more creative with how I bring you these makeovers. So remember, 2 even coats, 24 hours in between time frame of using your boss and painting on top of your project. I will do 2 full coats on this because they are very shiny and this part up here is a metal or a plastic, probably metal. And then I know that my paint's gonna stick. So what's the plan for today? We're gonna do Terra clay paint. I'm gonna do a really textured, grungy finish on these and possibly even rust and crust with patina. So stay tuned. Let's start our project with Terra clay paint. This is a paint that I don't think enough people in the world have tried because honestly, it is my favorite paint to use for blending and getting a gorgeous ombre finish. I am not kidding when I talk about how easy it is to push these colors together. You can see me doing it here in fast motion, but don't worry, I'll show you in real time as well. This is Terra clay paint from Dixie Belle Paint Company. It is available in 18 really pretty colors. I wish they had a brown. They don't. So if you ever see me using brown with my Terra clay paint, it's probably pine cone or chocolate from the chalk mineral paint line. You can apply your Terra clay paint with any kind of natural fiber brush. I tend to use these French tips a lot. And when you see them in my videos, they're not French tip anymore. They're actually rounded from daily use. But you can use a regular chip brush for this. This isn't a paint that you need to use a super expensive smooth brush for. And you're going to see me stipple it on. I really push the paint on versus smoothly painting the paint on because it looks better with a little bit of texture. When it dries, it's going to keep all of those little peaks and valleys.
Which means I'm going to share with you my little furniture flipping hack of the day. If you have a piece that's like scratched up or severely damaged or just something that's not smooth in general, if I get a piece like that, I guarantee I'm going to be using Terra clay paint on that project because it's going to camouflage and mask all of the little flaws that you might see on a piece of furniture. This paint is also super fantastic for getting that kind of grungy vibe. When you see me do the apothecary look or make a cabinet look super old or industrial, 9 times out of 10, I've done it with Terra clay paint. So this paint is also available in a tiny little 4-ounce size. If you're new to painting and you're like, I don't really want to bite the bullet and buy a 16-ounce huge can of Terra, try a little 4-ounce size. I really think that if you try it, you're going to love it. You also need to be aware that Terra clay paint can be reactivated by water unless it's sealed. So make sure to take care and seal your work. Don't come in with a super sopping wet brush of clear coat because you're going to move your Terra paint. I do like an oil-based wax to seal up my Terra clay paint. Dixie Belle does not make one. There are other companies out there that do make oil-based waxes that work fantastic with clay paint. But you can use your regular water-based sealant. You just need to be aware that you're going to be gently, gingerly applying that sealant over top of your finished product versus coming in and doing like a sopping wet sealing job. It's just going to move your paint is my advice. So either grab that oil-based sealer or use a water-based sealer very, very carefully. But once you have sealed up your paint, it looks fantastic. It's going to really deepen and darken the color. The color that you see when it's wet is the color that it's not going to be when it's dry. You need to realize that it's clay, right? It's a clay-based paint, so it's going to lighten up in color value. You can really see it happen here when I put the heat gun on the piece. But sealing your project brings back that vibrancy that you're missing from the paint. So you can build up your colors, build up your layers, pull it back, move it around. It's a real versatile paint. Sometimes I like to do a black base coat of regular chalk mineral paint and then use my Terra over top so that when I pull it back, you see the black underneath. Just know that this paint is really an artisan paint and you can have a lot of fun with it. It's a totally different game than regular chalk mineral paint. Another suggestion for Terra clay paint would be to find the colors that are in the same kind of color family. Using a set of blues like this, or blues into greens, or pinks into purples, it's going to make your life a lot easier when it comes to blending. And that kind of goes for all paint in general. If you look at the color wheel and you pick, say, like purple and green, and you think you're going to get a seamless blend, joke's on you. It's not going to happen. You need to pick colors that are very similar in value, and that's just going to make your job easier as a painter to blend them together. So this is the second coat that you see me applying here. That first coat has fully dried. Again, because it's going to reactivate if you put too much water on it. If it's not dry, you're just going to pull off what you already did. So really let that first coat get dry before you come in with your second. So this is the second coat, just dabbing on that paint, building up those layers, thicker in some areas, thinner in some areas. It really doesn't matter. This is a boho vibe, so I want it to be kind of organic feeling. You can also use a spray misting bottle when you're using this paint. You'll usually see me spraying stuff with water when it comes to Terra to get those really kind of drippy boho vibes. I love it when the colors are shown underneath, and that really happens well when you build up the layers with your Terra clay paint. The color that I'm going to be adding in the shade of green is called Pistachio, and Pistachio has a really vibrant hue. So I use Pistachio as kind of like my accent around the edges, and when I apply it, I spray it with water to get a nice little drippy vibe. I feel like this color palette has a very Mediterranean look to it. You see me do this look a lot. Like I think I've painted this same style on multiple different items, furniture, mirrors, candlesticks, so many things because it always turns out so amazing. And when you combine it with Patina Paint, which I'm going to show you how to do in the next step, it just looks like an old weathered door and I absolutely love it. And if you're somebody who's painting for profit, like you're buying something to paint and flip and make extra money on the side, and you're worried about this bold color not selling, it sells for me fast every single time. So now I'm going to let these sit for approximately 24 hours before I come in with my clear coat, because I do want to seal them before I start to add patina to my project. Now that I've waited approximately 24 hours for all of that Terra paint to get nice and dry, I'm going to seal it up. Now you do have options. Like I said, you can use an oil-based wax. You can use a clear coat. For this project, I'm going to use my matte clear coat, and I'm not going to lie, this can is super old. But I don't care if it's a little bit chunky, because the texture on this piece is going to hide all of that. So I'm just using up supplies that I have, and I'm going to apply an even coat of this matte top coat. This is just going to lock in that Terra clay paint and get it ready for patina. Again, applying it fairly thick. I'm not mashing my paint around. I'm just covering all of the areas so that I don't reactivate the actual Terra clay paint that's on the project. And then once your clear coat is dry, you are ready to start playing with patina paint. And we're going to talk all about this here in the video. I'm going to teach you everything you need to know.
Okay, so let's have a little chat about patina, because every time I use this product, people ask me a billion questions. So I'm going to answer them all for you right now, so you have all of your answers before I even start. What is Dixie Belle Patina? Well, patina is a system that allows you to use a product like this one right here. This is iron. Iron can go on, and yes, it looks gray right here, but when you spray it with a particular color, you're able to actually change the chemical reaction and get real rust on your piece. Not kidding, real rust. So what does that look like for people that are trying to figure out, well, hey, if I use this, what will it equal? What will iron go with green, with blue, with yellow? Yes, we even have yellow. I'm going to show you right here because I have a sample board, because of course I do. I'm a teacher. This is what I do. So this is the original color right here in the middle. This is iron. If you spray it with the green spray, you're going to get this really kind of orangey, beautiful green patina. If you spray it with the blue spray, which I have here on the floor, you're going to get more of a rusty color. Here comes my dog, because she wants to be in the show too. Hello, Luna. Come on, this way. Come on, Luna. Here you go. Go on, go over there. Go lay down. Come on. Anyways, it's not going to happen. She's just going to stand here and heavy breathe. Should we start over without dogs? No. Here. All right. So we have, this is copper. Copper, if you spray it with green, is going to go this beautiful green patina. Right here, if you spray it with blue, you're going to get this darker blue image. Stella, come here. Hi, you want to say hi to my friends? This is the noise you all hear in the background all the time. Every time I sit on the floor and do a little chat about anything, my puppers like to come in here and hang out. So we have 2 of these dogs, kids and dogs. I'm not in charge. They are. All right. Okay, moving along. And then you have the bronze. If you have bronze and you spray it with green, you're going to get this really pretty color over here. You spray it with blue, you're going to get this one over here. So iron, copper, bronze. That's what it's going to look like when you are done. So let's take it and put this on top of our candlesticks. Why? Because why not? It's fun to do things like this. And I can't decide if I'm going to go like bottom up or top down. Maybe top down. I was originally thinking bottom up, but it looks like it might be better from the top down, like dripping rust. Let's give it a try.
So I decided to flip over my chunky candlesticks, which is a kind of precarious position because they are freaking heavy. They're really heavy. But we're going to apply the patina paint from the bottom, kind of on the bottom of the candlestick, so that it runs down. But when you flip them up, it's going to be the opposite way, right? The 2 colors that I am choosing today for my patina paint project are iron, and we of course have copper, which is that beautiful bright patina. You can really see how kind of chunky it gets in there. Make sure you put your lids back on when you're spraying. You don't want to activate your actual paint jars. And the color of spray that I'll be using today is the blue. There's also a green spray and a yellow. My other handy tip is that you need to clean out your nozzle and your sprayer after use. Don't leave the product inside the sprayer. It will really junk it up and you won't be able to use it again on your next project. Using chip brushes so that I can dispose of them in the trash afterwards because I don't really want to wash this down my drain. I'm going to stipple on my iron color, remembering that this iron color is going to turn that really bright rusty shade. I'm going to do it fairly thick, and I'm going to do probably a couple of layers. You need to know that this needs to be wet when you spray it or it's not going to work. And don't be too perfect with it either. I think that if it's real rust, if you're looking at a project that had real rust on it from years of sitting outside or not being used, the rust is not going to be brushed on very gently and perfectly, right? It's going to be stipply, it's going to be drippy, it's going to be chunky. Have some fun with this. This is a creative process that, you cannot be overly concerned about being neat and tidy. Keeping a separate brush for iron and copper because I don't want to contaminate my jars. I might use those jars in another project and want to keep those colors fairly true to what's inside the jar versus a Hot Mess Express. Once you've finished applying all of the iron, which I tend to do more of, I like more of the actual dark red rust color, you can come in and start to add your copper. You can also do the bronze, but I don't find the bronze comes up as bright as the copper does in color. So my advice to you would be go heavy on the iron, which is that red, and go a little bit more lighter when you're using your accent copper or bronze on top. Also, another handy dandy tip of the day, open a window, get a fan, do something, because right now this process doesn't stink. These paints have metal in them. They don't smell, but when you spray them to activate the metal with your rust activator, which is your spray, that spray is super stinky. It smells like vinegar. You also need to remember to shake all of your products well before use. Spraying the shaken bottle is going to be much more effective than spraying with a bottle that's not mixed up properly. And yes, I got the spray on my wall. That's okay. I wiped it off. This is my studio space. This wall gets repainted probably every month or so with a fresh coat of paint because this is where I work. I do wonder, though, about the next person that moves into this house because this studio was actually a dining room originally, and I've repainted the wall so many times that it doesn't look the best anymore, but they're going to move in here and be like, what in the world happened in this dining room? It's just paint. Paint happened. Okay, back to business. So now that I have sprayed the entire areas where I have applied my patina paint, you just need to sit back, hold your horses, and wait. This activation process takes a couple hours. You can see the copper change a little bit quicker than you can see the iron color change, but once it's done, it looks 1,000 times different. You can then choose to seal your piece one more time with clear coat or, whatever your top coat of choice is. But for these, I just wipe them down to get rid of any residual marks that might be on there from the spray. And this is what we're left with. Rusty and crusty and exactly the way that I wanted them. I think I mentioned in the beginning of this video, these belong to a friend of mine and she is over the moon happy with how they turned out. I personally am the biggest fan of Terra clay paint and Patina paint together. I think that they just complement each other well, and it always looks like $1,000,000. So the next time you're walking around a yard sale or your local thrift store and you see some giant candlesticks, grab them, grab your Patina paint, and get a little bit crafty.